It happens all the time.
Go ahead, Q, please.
I love doing this. We ain't did this in a long time, but y'all fuck everything Adrian talking. What the fuck is he talking about? Like, I'm trying to process it, and I'm like,
I'm
what the fuck
telling
is he
you.
talking about? Because we just watched this psychotic bitch on this stand. And most of what is said on this panel by the men is that what y'all looking for is not out here. But you're saying if a guy finds that and he marries that, which is non-existent, and she leaves, she's gonna regret it and come back.
So first I said, um, she was already married to somebody else, right? So that's different. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying like typically because typically the argument that women bring forth is, oh, the nigga was just doing me bad. So I'm talking about in a situation when you have a good man, right? Yeah, he may have cheated, but a good man, right? He's not beating you or nothing like that. When you have a good man and a woman leaves, she will come back if you do what you're supposed to do as a man. I feel like in most cases.
I think that's cap. I think that's pure cap. I think because if a woman's divorcing you to begin, I mean, you're talking about a marriage, not like a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
not a 6 month or a 1 year because you found out she got the good head or whatever. Not that type of shit. I'm talking about like a marriage. If a woman's leaving a marriage, I think she pretty much sat with that for some time. Now, to your point, if it was a guy, it might be different because I don't know why guys would leave a marriage. He might regret it and feel like he need to go back, but I don't
Okay,
see
so,
leave
so let
like
me
that.
ask you this. Well,
Yeah,
not you. Asia, you said no. Isha, I know you're divorced. Afterwards, did you ever think like, dang, I wish I could make it work or would want to give it another shot? Like, was there ever an opportunity for it?
I think at the end when we were going through counseling and stuff, I think I wanted to work it out. But after I got divorced, I was pretty sure that was the best thing.
Yeah, exactly. Once we got there, I thank God even to this day, like I got divorced, honestly, because it wasn't healthy. It wasn't
Mhm.
healthy,
But I
and
will
that's
say
why
this.
I wouldn't go back.
But I will say this that I've thought about like, damn, I could be comfortable in this economy if I was still married. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's ever been about him. It's more so about me and my stability.
Yo, real quick, Isha, Isha, love. I mean, little side off topic, but if is the saying "if I knew then what I know now" applicable to those situations? Like if you had the EQ that you have now, if the knowledge that you have now in terms of communication and working through different things, do you think it would have been different then, from your perspective? Not nothing he did, but on your behalf.
Two things would have been different. I probably would have never married him because I would have realized that he wasn't the person who I needed or the person who I can build my purpose with or have a purpose with or a foundation with. But I also know that, and I'm never going to just blame it on this man because he was a good guy. He just wasn't the guy for me. And I know that I came into the situation as Miss Independent. I can do this by myself if I needed to. So I know as a woman in my mouth, I cut him down. So I know there's some things that I've done to kind of contribute to the distance between us.
And I echo Isha's sentiment for the most part. So I should have never married him in the first place. I recognize that. So I take that on. Like, yeah, my EQ was then what it is now. It would have happened. Um, but also I do take some accountability inside the marriage as well because I didn't cut him down. I just shut down. And that's kind of just the work. Like when I shut down, I literally shut down. I kind of said this a long time ago. There's nothing you can say. A brick wall is up. I don't care what happens after that. It's just done. Was that the best thing to do? No, but that's how I handled it. So that's why I take that on in that way. I wouldn't have handled it that way if I look back at 2020.
Alex, you want in on this?
I do think men waste too much time in relationships when it comes to marriages. It's always interesting to me when a divorce comes as a surprise to a man. Like, I didn't know that she wasn't happy or whatever the case was. There's always signs going on. And I think it's sad more than anything that men just feel like, okay, we're married. I have to stay in the situation and not be happy. And I think that's something that we don't talk about, right? Like, as a man, like, I have to work, I have to do all of these things, but are your needs being met, right? You are more, and we always say this, you all are more than just your paycheck. You are all are more than just your physical attributes, but are your needs also being met? And I think it's unfortunate that men just feel like, you know what, I'm in it now, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, everything else doesn't matter, it falls on the back end. Adrian was saying something about who goes to the courthouse first. I think it's more powerful to me when a man decides to go ahead and leave. And when I hear that men are taking, or when I see situations where men are initiating the divorce, that to me says, okay, like, you decided to put yourself first. You knew, you had enough sense to be like, you know what, this isn't working out. I'm not happy anymore. Let's go ahead and move on. I think if more men initiated that, instead of just choosing to just be like, this is the way things are, I think things may go in a man's favor a little bit more than they do currently right now. Similar to when we talked about with the child support situation. Not enough men go ahead and initiate it. Not enough men fight it because it's like, you know what? This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm giving up. She's the mom. She's supposed to have X, Y, and Z. This is just how it's going to be. So I do think men are wasting their time in relationships, I feel like. And it saddens me that men just feel like, you know what? I have to just accept this. And I'm waiting for her to pull the plug. And then all of a sudden when she does, y'all are distraught and I'm losing everything to this woman, when you could have just recognized a long time ago and seen the signs that, yo, this shit is just not working out anymore.
Wait, can I ask one quick question before Q go? So are y'all saying that men shouldn't be loyal?
No, I'm not saying that. It has nothing to do with being loyal. It's just a matter of, if shit is not
working out. Men are more loyal?
I don't know if I would say loyal, or as I would say, complacent.
You think
men have more to lose?
Hold on. Let me go down let me run it down real quick. So you're saying we aren't loyal, we are complacent in these situations?
I didn't say you weren't loyal. I said that you all are more complacent, is what I would say in this situation.
Are we more loyal?
Yeah, I would say so.
And we're also complacent?
I feel like men are loyal to a fault.
How much how much bearing on our decision do you think our kids make when we don't divorce?
How much bearing do the kids influence do the kids have?
Men don't usually divorce because we know how court can often go. So why would I give up my greatest assets and not be around my children every day?
But that goes back into the conversation, and I do feel like men have more to lose, but I think that goes back into the conversation of, because enough men don't go ahead and initiate things always fall into the realm, into the favor of the women. I think y'all gotta empower yourselves a little bit more.
Alex, last question. Does it also kind of speak to Gunny's point?
I would say so.
Go ahead, Q. Okay. Go ahead, Q.
Yeah. So to me, as I'm hearing you speak, Alex, about happiness in marriage, it's like if a person threw away a sandwich because it came with bread. You know what I mean? Like divorcing because you're not happy, like that comes with marriage.
Right. And I'm not saying that you're going to be happy all the time, or maybe a man just realizes that, let's take happiness off the table. It's not healthy. It's a toxic relationship. But sometimes men will stay just because of the fact that, I don't want to go through it's cheaper to keep her. I don't want to go through all of that. So I just stay and deal with the crazy that I'm used to until she goes ahead and she pulls the plug on the situation. Women are more apt to pull the plug before a man will. Mm-hmm. That's not healthy.
And so toxicity in a marriage is a deal breaker?
Yes. It should be. Granted, there are levels to toxicity and things being unhealthy, but if I feel like it's toxic, it's not healthy, it's not fruitful, it's time to go.
Okay. So like, are you saying if a person is not making any progress or efforts to come out of those spaces? Because I know people who have successful marriages who've been through all of that. Mm-hmm. And some shit that we'll be like, oh, what the fuck?
Right.
But their ability to work through it is what kept them together. So
But I think that's the
I'm
difference.
starting to look like they were being complacent. So
But I
that's why
think that's the yeah, and I get the point with that. But I think that's the difference, though. Do you have a partner who is willing to work with you, or is this just how the things are always going to be? It takes two. And I'm just saying from someone not in my marriage, but I have been in a toxic situation, and it was just like, you know, something, we are not healthy. This is physical. It's not okay. It's physically, mental, emotionally abusive. We have to get out of it. And I had to be the one to be like, all right, I'm done, because if not, the chaos would have just continued on.
right.
Alex, I noticed you. I want to get Gunny in. I know you said partner.
Mhm. Husband, wife.
But I feel like women want traditional men, but they don't want to be traditional women.
We're not in traditional times, though.
But that's not what I said. Women want traditional men, but they don't want to be traditional women. The men, what you use men for is still the same. You still have the same expectations for men, but you guys don't often fulfill those traditional expectations that we also want.
So, and with that, it goes back to me saying, like, if we got married and I feel like I'm not a man, but if you're not holding up the expectation of being this traditional woman, and if you were presenting one way before we got married and then we get married and you're doing something completely different, at what point do you as a man say, okay, we got to fix this shit because this is not what I signed up for? Are you going to stay and quote unquote suffer and continue on with it? This is not the lifestyle that you wanted. Or do you decide to go ahead, I'm gonna walk away? Like, what are you doing?
I think, Alice, I think you would be a 4th round draft pick. Your back pedal is decent. Great.
So